everybody. How y'all doing? Y'all good? I'm great. Thank you so much for asking. Are y'all ready for some football? I hope you are, because I am going to give you the best game day Hennessy fried chicken wings. Y'all ready for it? It's quite simple. You are going to need cornstarch and flour. Now you want to have your chicken wings extra crispy because you're gonna add the glaze to it, and you do not want just your regular flour to kind of get all mushy and stuff. So your chicken has to be extra crispy to handle the glaze. You got that? Okay. So season your chicken as you please. If you want to follow along with this recipe, I'm going to tell you what I am going to use. So I am going to use some paprika, some mustard. This is ground mustard. We have some cayenne pepper just for a little bit of heat. We have garlic powder, onion powder. We have some all you need Southern Classic seasoning. You can use whatever it is that you choose in place of that. It's fine. Some salt and pepper, some chicken bouillon flavoring. Now, I may or may not add salt because we're going to use the bouillon. So as I start seasoning, I will gauge that and let you know if I am going to use it. We're going to use some adobo. This is another reason why I am going to gauge and see if I'm going to use white salt or not, because this has enough sodium. We are going to use some mustard as our binding. We are going to, okay, that's your chicken seasoning. Okay, I'm missing one thing on here, but I'll bring that back in 1 second. You're obviously gonna need some chicken wings. You can leave them whole, you can split them in half. Wingettes or drums, whatever that you choose. Are you the flat or the drum? Are you team flat or team drum? Let me know. I'm team flat. All right, now for your Hennessy glaze, you're gonna need some honey. Support your local farmers. You're gonna need some garlic. You're gonna need a stick of butter. This is salted extra creamy butter. You're gonna need some brown sugar, light or dark, however you please. And you are going to need some Hennessy. So I'm sure you have some of this in the cabinet during the season, so you don't have to go far for it. You're also gonna need a little bit of club soda. I am gonna bring that in and when we get started seasoning this chicken. So let's get ourselves situated and we'll be right back. Let's season some chicken. As you can see behind me, I have my pan already and my oil preheating so that when we are done, we can just give this a second to rest and get working on our wet, dry combination that we're gonna put together to get that extra crispy chicken. But first we need to season this chicken. All right, so please, if you're not gonna use gloves or something, make sure that you do not touch anything. All right, so to the chicken, we're gonna add some onion powder. Season your food to your liking, as much or as little as you can handle. We're gonna have some garlic powder. Some cayenne pepper, just for a little bit of heat. It's not necessary, it's your choice. Some paprika. To me, this just gives the chicken such a pretty color. Some ground mustard. Why this ain't coming out like I want it to? All right, there you go. Just give it a little squeeze. Some ground mustard. We're gonna add just a hint of our chicken bouillon just to intensify that chicken flavor, just a little bit. Some adobo. And just a hit of all you need. Now this is low sodium, so you don't have to be too iffy about it. Okay. save some of that because I got to season my flour too. Didn't add the mustard, but we will go in with the mustard in 1 second. Just get everything incorporated really quick, and then we're gonna come in with some mustard. I'll take this off. And some yellow mustard of your choice. Now this is going to help combine all of that flavor. Get that nicely worked in. Get everybody nice and wet here. Okay, here I have, this is 6 whole wings cut in half, so I have 12 pieces. Of course, if you got a big party going on, you will use more. I relatively don't like to use the wingettes, the pre-frozen wingettes, because to me, in my opinion, they just hold a lot of water. Like they have a lot of liquid. I don't know, it's just weird to me. Okay, so we have our chicken seasoned. And we're just gonna set this aside for a moment. Let me wipe this up really quick. Presentation. All right. All right, so that is, we're gonna let this sit for a little bit while we get our dry ingredients together, and then I'm gonna show you how we are gonna handle that. So first, we are going to add our all-purpose flour. You're gonna need, I mean, I don't have that much, so I'm just gonna go with a cup of, a heaping cup of all-purpose flour. Yeah. I am going to go in with some cornstarch. I am gonna go with about half a cup of cornstarch. Yeah, half a cup of cornstarch. I'm gonna keep that measuring cup because you're gonna use it one more time. Now we're gonna season our flour. We're gonna season with some salt. Gauge your salt a little bit with the little cover. As you can see, that's about a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to go in with a teaspoon of cracked black pepper. Change that. Okay. We're going to add some paprika. So pretty much everything we seasoned the chicken with, we are going to also season the flour. So we got the paprika, we got the cayenne pepper, just a little bit. We have the onion powder. I'm almost out of this. The garlic, that was reversed. That was garlic powder. Now we're going in with onion powder. A little bit more of your ground mustard. A couple squeezes. And just a hit of the adobo. All right, I'm gonna take my whisk and I'm going to whisk that all together. My whisk would be wet. Make sure it's dry. Or whatever it is you're gonna mix it with, make sure that it's dry. All right, give it a nice whisk, incorporate everything together. Like so. And then out of this batch that you just made, we're going to take out, let's say, Let's go about a little less than a cup. And this is what we're gonna make our dredge with. And when I say dredge, that's your first wet batter, yes. So the club soda that I failed to show you earlier, it doesn't matter what it is that you use or what brand that you use, just make sure that it's cold. Make sure your club soda is cold when you are making your dredge. So just eyeball it a little bit. You want it to be runny, you don't want it to be too thick. So this is actually 7.5 ounces. And it looks like we're gonna use all of that. It's nice and fluffy. Yes, all of it. All right. Let me get myself together and I will show you the next step. My dredge is still too runny. It should not be this watery consistency. So I obviously need to add a little bit more flour. I do not want to take my seasoned flour, which you can, but because my portions are so small, I only judged enough for that. So I'm gonna go half a cup. Let's eyeball it. Gotta improvise. All right, let's get this whisk together and see how that looks. Make it work. Okay, that's thickening up nicely. And I am going to do the same with the cornstarch. This is Yoki's kitchen. I didn't say it was a perfect kitchen. All right, so I'm going to show you how to get through things just in case that happens. Okay, so we're just going to add equal parts of flour and cornstarch of what I just added in. That's all. I did want to keep my seasoned flour kind of set aside because I wanted that to be the last part, or the final dip is going to be in that seasoned flour. But as you can see, this is seasoned quite nicely as well. So now that you have your dredge, your dry flour, and your chicken, I am going to show you what's next over here by the heated frying pan. Let's do it. Let me show you how to dredge. Now, it doesn't matter, it's up to you how many times you choose to put it back into the wet batter. Now, that would create a thicker crust on the chicken. I'm only gonna go once because we have quite a bit of cornstarch in here. So I am going to wet, dry, and into the hot oil. So we're gonna take our seasoned chicken, like so. We're gonna go wet. We're gonna go dry. Knock off the excess. And you're just gonna set it aside, like so. You're gonna repeat the process until you have it all done. Just keep going. Just knock off as much of it as possible, because it will cause your oil to burn quickly. You can even pat it in if you'd like. This is how the chicken looks after the wet, dry mixture that we did. So now we're going to add it to the oil and get started on that Hennessy sauce. Come on. Let's do a quick oil check and see if our oil is ready. Wooden spoon trick. As you can see, it is rumbling, so that's letting me know that my oil is nice and hot. So I'm going to take this out and add my chicken. Do not crowd your pan because it will cause the oil to cool, and you need your oil to be nice and hot when you're frying your chicken. Team flat, and I put all these things in there. Y'all ready for that Dolphins game? Sunday? What y'all think gonna happen? What do y'all call the score? Drop some scores in the comments and let's find out who's the closest. Dolphins-Bills game this Sunday. Let me know. So we are gonna let this go for about 10-12 minutes. Give it a spin. Uh-oh, I'm making a mess. 10-12 minutes, give it a turn. And while we're waiting on that, we can get started on our Hennessy glaze. Went ahead and flipped it because it will get golden brown very quick. First batch of chicken out. Beautiful, crispy chicken. I'll give you a rub test in a second. And we're gonna add our second set of wings to the oil. I just rubbed all of that off. Remember, don't crowd your pan. So just enough, like so. Now while we're waiting on that, let's get started on this Hennessy glaze. So I have my second frying pan here preheated. So I'm going to add my 1 stick of butter. Oh, that was super hot, that brown butter. And to that we are going to add our garlic paste. Fresh garlic, preferably if you have some. Just make sure you chop it up nice and fine. Now this is fresh butter, so it's actually turning into brown butter pretty quickly. Oh, sorry. And the frying pan is extremely hot. Okay, let's put that garlic down just a little bit before we start adding anything else. That was just because the pan was extremely hot. You should keep moving it, your butter won't burn. Okay. Just made a mess here. Okay, now to this you're going to add your brown sugar. Of course, if I can have this open. And you're gonna create a glaze for your wings. We're gonna go with a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. 1/2 cup of brown sugar. We're going to caramelize this down into the butter. Slap that down. Give this just a little bit of time. We're also going to add in our honey. As much or as little of the honey as you like. So that was a couple teaspoons. Let that caramelize. You do want to turn your fire down low because the sugar will burn. I'll just keep stirring that up. Like so, and you will be ready to add your Hennessy in just a moment. Keep stirring because you need to break that brown sugar down. To balance some of this sweetness, I'm just going to add a little bit of red pepper flakes, just because. Okay, so your Hennessy. Nobody is going to get drunk because the heat will cook out your liquor. So this is not quite a full cup, but a cup of that Hennessy. Now when you are cooking with alcohol, be careful. Please be careful. The alcohol is going to cook out of this, so don't worry. The goal is just to get that sugar melted. And it will thicken up the glaze once it's reduced. And I am just going to put a pinch of red pepper flakes in here as well, like so. Just a little bit more. So that'll help balance out that sweetness. We're going to get this reduced nicely. And we are going to add it to our wings. This glaze is reducing very, very nicely, but I need to thicken it up just a little bit. And I am going to thicken it up by using a little bit of cornstarch. So I have 1/4 teaspoon of cornstarch that I am going to add to this. And this is going to give it the thickening agent to just, you know, thicken it up just a little bit. Just a little bit. All right. So I'm going to continue to let this reduce while we wait on our second batch of chicken. And I don't know if it happens to anybody else, but me, my first batch of chicken always looked a little sus. But that second batch is right. Okay, so you're gonna let this cook down. I'm gonna ease up off of the heat because it has been going for quite some time now. So while this cools, we're gonna mine our chicken. Break up the little lumps, you don't want that. And you have a nice thick glaze. See how it's changing? Let's get this second batch of chicken out. Stand them up on your lined sheet plate, whatever it is that you have, so that the oil can drain off, because you don't want it to make your chicken soggy. Yes, I know that looks like a whole lot of oil. I tried to make a whole deep fried situation with a frying pan. Okay, so that is our chicken. We're gonna set this aside here. Let's give our glaze another little stir. You really can't appreciate the color of it because of the cast iron. But that is a beautiful brown glaze. Now, if you don't have Hennessy and you have any other type of cognac, you're more than welcome to use that. But for the sake of the recipe, it's Hennessy glazed chicken. Okay, so to your bowl, you're going to, you don't want to put all of your wings in at the same time because you want to incorporate the sauce in layers. So let's put our first batch of chicken in there. Let me grab my mitt and my spatula because this is going to be very hot. Let's make some switcheroons here. Okay, now if you don't believe me as far as the crispiness of the chicken, you hear that? Super crispy. All right, so you are going to pour in your glaze. Oh, look at that. Just make sure I don't make a mess on the stove. Give your chicken a flip. I got a runaway wing. I don't need this for this. Flip that around like so. We're gonna handle that chicken wing in a second. Add a couple more pieces. Let me get rid of this and clean that up. Like this. All right, now we're in business. Add a couple more pieces of your wings. And then you're just going to build that glaze onto your chicken. Now, had I had a bigger bowl, we could have done some flipping and stuff, but we already lost one. We ain't gonna lose no more. Some more glaze. Flip it around. Now what you see there is the red pepper flakes. So you don't have to add it, but it kind of balances out the sweetness because Hennessy has a sugary factor. We put in the brown sugar and honey. So, okay. We got one wing left behind. Let's just pour that little bit left on him. Yum. Let me get that plate so that we can plate these wings. Honey glazed Hennessy chicken wings. The perfect game day, what is it, appetizer, finger food, party food, whatever it is that you want to call it now. Depending on your taste and your liking, you can judge the amount of Hennessy that you add to your recipe. Now, the actual alcohol will be cooked out of the sauce, so you don't have to worry about anybody getting drunk or whatever, but it will definitely have the full flavor of the Hennessy. Because if you can't taste the Hennessy, why would it be Hennessy wings, in my opinion? Let me see if we drizzle just a little bit this over the top. All right. So you know I got to give you a taste test on these beautiful wings. Y'all ready? I am. I want you to listen for that crunch. Perfectly sticky. You can smell the Hennessy, although the alcohol is cooked out. You hear that? Woo! It's hot.
I want some.
Look at that ooey gooey drip. Wow. That is very, very good. This is definitely a must try. The wing is so hot. Finger looking good. Yo gang, this is definitely your next game day must have. Must have. Ladies, you want to get them from the TV? Fix them some Hennessy wings. Well, yo gang, thank you so much for joining me today as I made you this beautiful Hennessy glazed chicken wings, the ultimate game day meal or starter or whatever it is that you want to call it. So listen, if you have not yet checked out www.yokegang.com, make sure that you do pick up a t-shirt or a patch. Or even if you are interested in joining the Yoke Gang All In, make sure that you hit that link and join the membership. Thank you to everybody who has already joined. I really, really appreciate it more than you know. And if you try this, let me know. So with that being said, y'all already know I love y'all for life.